Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we are starting the new part of your medieval Indian history series. Today we will discuss the South Indian kingdoms. We'll start from the Chalukyas, then we will discuss Cholas and the Rashtrakutas. Okay, so before I start the session, let me just cover it up from the last lecture. Please send me a hi or hello in the comment box, guys. If I'm live, if you can see me, if it is working fine from your side, please let me know. Okay. Yes, good evening everyone. So basically guys, first of all, I discussed the Pallava art and architecture with you. We have covered the Pallava polity also. So Pallavas were replaced by the Cholas, and then we need to discuss how Cholas came and how the rule started. But Pallavas had immense fight with Chalukyas. So before we come to Cholas, let's cover Chalukyas, okay? Because Pallavas and Chalukyas were neighbors, they used to fight. Then Cholas and Rashtrakutas came in their place, and then Cholas and Chalukyas also started, Cholas and Rashtrakutas came, and Cholas and Rashtrakutas started fighting. So we will discuss Cholas and Rashtrakutas also today only. So let's just understand the temple architecture which began under the Pallavas, because this was something which we didn't cover in the last class. Okay, so apart from this, we have covered everything about Pallavas, but only the stages of temple architecture briefly needs to be done today, because it is important for your prelims, because they ask a lot about the temple architectures, temple developments, their builders and all. Okay, so let's just cover it in a very brief way. However, in your art and culture series separately, we will discuss the temple architecture in details. Okay, because so many different types of temples are there, but here just for a brief understanding we will see. So in this stage 1, we saw that Mahendra Varman I, he was the first Pallava ruler who started temple architecture. So he started it from the rock cut temples. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, we have discussed this one. Then Pancharath temple, Saptarath temple, these kind of Rath temple came up. Okay, in the next ruler's time, who was Narasimha Varman. So during his reign, we saw these kind of developments. So this is Panch Pandav Ratha temple, here you can see. Then we saw the real structural temple during the time of Rajasimha. So this is the stage 3 where the structural temples came up, in which we had pillars also, assembly halls also, and a raised platform was also there. Then came the stage 4, which is the complete development of initial phase of the Dravidian art of temple architecture. And there we will see that some more additions will take place, like the compound wall will come up, the gopuram will be there, and some new types of sculptures will be there. Okay, so all these things happened. So these are the 4 stages of developments which happened in the temple architecture. So I was discussing with you in the last class that Pallava art and architecture was very important, and this is important because they started something unique. Okay, they were the first to introduce the temple architecture in South India. So that's why we need to read about them in detail. I hope you understand this. Yes. So yes, happy Chhat Puja guys, happy Chhat Puja to all of you, and fine. Those of you who are new here, please like the video, because I can see that many students are there live right now, but they have not liked it yet. So please increase the likes and increase the comments. Try to share it also if you can. Now, come back to the topic. Basically, when we discuss the Pallava art and architecture, we need to understand that we have to be very detailed about temple building. Okay, so they were doing it. It was a great age of temple building, and they only introduced this art of making temples out of the rock. So rock cut temples got started here. Even it is said that Dravidian style of temple architecture, which is prevalent in South India even today, this architecture began with the Pallava rule only. The style began here. Okay, because from those cave temples to monolithic rathas, this kind of development culminated into the structural temples, and then the Dravidian style appeared. Okay, and the development of temple architecture which happened under the Pallavas had four stages, as we just covered in the diagram which we saw. Okay, so Mahendravarman I introduced rock cut temples. So first temple is rock cut temple, first stage is rock cut temple. It is seen in different places like Mandakapattu, Mahindravadi, Mamandur, Dalavanur, Tiruchirappalli, Vallam, Siyamangalam, Tirukalakunnaram. In all these areas, we had these rock cut temples. Okay. Then in the second stage, monolithic Rath temple or mandapas were found at Mammalpuram, and it was developed by Narasimhavarman I, who killed the Chalukyan ruler also, Pulakesin II, if you remember. Okay, and then the five Rath temple he made. He also used to make the seven Rath temple. So five Rath temple means Panch Pandav Rath temple, because we had five Pandavas. And here the smallest Rath was the Draupadi Rath, and sometimes the biggest Rath was the Dharmaraj Rath. Okay, from Dharmaraj Rath only the development of Dravidian style of temple architecture came. Okay, so it signifies those five different styles of temple architecture in which different sections came. Basically, when I say Rath temples, I mean to say that sections of temples. Rathas, they denoted a kind of a section in the temple. Okay, I hope you understand this point. One more important thing is that the mandapa. What do you mean by mandapa? Can you tell me what do you mean by mandap in a temple architecture? Mandap means the assembly hall. Okay, so if you remember, we had many different kind of art forms, dance forms, theaters got developed in the temple premises. Okay, because here only people used to come and assemble. So it was a kind of an assembly hall, and here people used to sit and they used to, do some meditative activities. Sometimes they used to look at the idol of the god, and sometimes they used to just sit there. So big mandaps came place in this particular part, and beautiful sculptures also used to be there in the inside the mandap area on the walls of the mandap, and most popular are the Mahishasuravarddhini mandapa and Tirumurthy mandapam, Varaha mandapam. These mandapams are very, very important. Then in the third stage, during the time of Rajasimha, the real structural temples came, and they were used by, they were made by using the soft sand rocks. Why soft sand rocks? Because it will be easy to make sculptures on the walls if it is of the soft sand rock. Okay, I hope you will remember this soft sand rock for your prelims, because they may ask you in the exam. For example, the Kailashnath temple at Kanchipuram and the Shore temple at Mammalpuram are made up of these soft sand rocks only. In the fourth stage came the structural temples with more bigger styles, and they were developed by the later Pallava rulers. And here we see that some examples are there, like Vaikund Perumal temple is there, Mukteshwara temple is there. Then we have Mataganeshwara temple at Kanchipuram, which comes in this fourth stage, where temple became bigger, platform increased, it was more appraised now, and more sculptures got added. Now we will see a kind of development in South India, which is also you will see that this is also a kind of transition where you'll see a change. Okay, so what is a change? In all these temple styles, you will see a kind of closeness is there. Okay, it is very intricate, it is very detailed. Okay, so many mural arts also came here. So sometimes the building looked very congested. Have you ever visited a temple? You must have seen that sometimes when you enter the temple area, and if you try to do the pradakshina, or if you just try to have a walk away, you'll feel that even if the temple is very, very big, still if so many people will enter in the assembly hall, and if they will try to do the darshan, they'll face a kind of congested spaces there. Okay, because so many details are there. When you have so many details on walls, so many sculptures, so many art forms, you need to stop for some time and look at it to admire the art. Okay, sometimes you need more time to understand those spaces. Okay, but this thing got changed in the medieval times, because you will see that when Islamic art will come, it will mixed with the Indian art. So Indo-Islamic art will be there, or it is also known as the Saracenic art, Indo-Saracenic style. So in that style, you will see that spaces will be introduced. Bigger spaces, big areas, big courtyards. Okay, jali work, no sculptures, no detailed work. Even if the details are there, they are very minute and floral in their pattern. Okay, very calm, calm and quiet and simple detailing is going to be there. And they will, they'll also try to give more importance and preference to the structure of the architecture and the strength of the architecture than the designing. So you will see the kind of designing which we had in the ancient times or the early medieval periods or in the temple architectures of India, that kind of detail will be decreased. Okay, spaces will be increased, spaciousness. Okay, marvelous features, big, areas will be covered. So if you visit a tomb and if you visit a temple, even if the temple is bigger in the area and the size, you'll feel that the temple area or the temple premises is more congested. And if you visit a tomb or a garden or any Indo-Islamic garden, you'll feel that they have more spaces. They have given more area to air, to space, to light, to all these natural things. So this kind of spaciousness got added in the Indo-Islamic art later, which was not here in these temple architectures. Okay, they were more congested, they were more detailed, they utilized each and every space of the wall to make these sculptures. Even if any small space was remaining, they used to make a lotus inside. Okay, so they used to do these intricate detailed art on the walls every time. Fine. Yes. And then you will see, yes, that's a very good point. I can see Harshal, just told us that yes, so many, sculptures and forms of gods are there. So if you want to show a kind of a story, even if you take it from Ramayana or any other god, if you want to relate it with any, particular time of the god, the problem is that so many types of images and idols are there that to complete that particular storyline, you need a good area and space. You need to make so many idols and sculptures, so it will be filled up. Okay, even if you will keep so many sculptures in your room, let's imagine that wherever you are sitting right now in your room, if I give you 100 of sculptures, okay, and you keep it all around your room, maybe initially you will like it. Okay, it will be very beautiful. You may, place it here and there, and you may make some spaces on your wall, and you will keep those pieces. But after some time you will feel that it makes your entire room very congested. There is a lack of space. So this happened in the temple architecture. Now when we come to the sculpture development, open art galleries were there, like in Mammalapuram area. It remains a very important monument which had the sculptural beauty of this period. The descent of Gangas, if you remember, we had western Gangas and eastern Ganga. Okay, Gangas of Mysore were there and Gangas of Odisha were there. So these rulers, and their descent, their successors, or the rulers who came after it, they also made sculptures. Like there is a sculpture about the penance of Arjuna. It is called a fresco painting in stone. What do you mean by a fresco painting? Fresco painting is a painting which is done on a wet plaster. When the plaster is wet, and if you do something, if you paint something on it, it will stay forever. Okay, so for that, fresco paintings were made. Have you seen that in any area, if a very fresh plaster is done and if the floor is still wet, it is still very clayey, and if you put a foot in that area, the mark will be there. Okay, that mark will be forever there. if you have visited constructional sites, or if you have seen that if new roads are being made in near to your house, or maybe in your childhood if you experience these activities, you must be knowing that what I'm saying. Okay, so if the plaster is wet there, if you make a painting, is known as a fresco painting. Okay, so these sculptures, they contained the minute details as well as the different theme, such as the figures of lice picking monkey. Okay, can you see that such a you know such a detailed thing is it? Like when monkey is picking the lice, it is such a small detail. It is also shown. Sometimes elephants of huge size and the figure of ascetic cat. So many these kind of things were there, and that's why it became very very detailed. Now if we come to the fine arts, during the time of Pallavas, music, dance, painting also developed under the patronage of Pallava rulers, like the not Mammalpuram, Mamandapura. So Mamandur inscription. Mamandur inscription, it is there where the notation of vocal music is written here, which shows that they had good artistic and creative themes in their times. And then in the Kudai Manamalai inscription, it is referred to musical notes and instruments again. The Alvars and Nayanar saints also compose their hymns in various musical notes. Even today, if you will listen to any bhajan, okay, I'm not trying to promote any religion here, just saying that from any religion, okay, from Sikhism, Hinduism, Islam, or from any other religion, if you take their hymns, bhajan, or if you will try to listen to their devotional songs or musics, you will feel that in their songs the lyrics are very much relatable to the people. People feel those lyrics like, okay, yes, it is happening in my life. I also want to ask this to God. These things, why they were written like this. And initially those leaders of Alvars, Nayanars, and then Bhakti movement and saints who came, they gave the basic themes and ideas to the society. Even today those lyrics are getting repeated in different forms. You see that we don't get to have a lot of new lyrics and music coming up. Sometimes it is just a repetition and some kind of revisions they do in the notes, and they make a new song out of it. So creativity somehow is reducing nowadays. Maybe more use of technology is there than the creative mind, but at that time people were really creative. They used to think, they used to sit and think for many days, and then they used to write a song, then they used to compose a lyric, and there they had their feelings and emotions attached to it. So if you will try to listen to any devotional song, you will understand that how much emotion it contains. They try to keep all the points of a general life in a song where the devotee will be connected to God just by listening to it. Even if a person is not very religious in nature or spiritual in nature, by listening these songs the person may change. The person may start liking that particular god or religion, or those activities. It happens. Why? Because music is a very good way to touch the heart of people, to make people follow something. So to attract the masses, it was also a kind of a way which was used by many of the saints at that time. Dance and drama also developed during this period. Here also you will see that many of the dance forms like Bharatanatyam and so many other dance forms got evolved. Here also the themes were always taken from the Indian epics like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Ras Leela of Krishna. So these kind of themes they used to take. Always devotional themes were there in the dance styles. All the classical dance you will see in India, they follow some kind of devotional theme. And then dramas were also based on the mythology, okay, Indian mythology. So you see that everywhere in drama, in dance, in music, the mythology, the religious themes are always there, because people used to feel attached with these things, okay. People used to be very relatable to these points and aspects. So it helped the saints, the temples, the institutions to attract the masses, and it helped the masses to learn the path of spirituality and to follow it in a easier way, because it makes it makes the thing very easy to understand for you, okay. Because society, because people, at that time, they were not very literate, okay. Sometimes they were illiterate, uneducated masses. So to teach them the real thought of spirituality, this is the best way to make them come and follow these new ideas, because people will be influenced very easily. Like today, if you want to buy a product, even if you want to watch a movie, even if you want to just know about a place, area, location, what do? You search it on YouTube. Why? Because you know that these influencers, these people who are making the videos, may give you the right information. And sometimes you get influenced by these social media people, and then you buy such things which are really not needed for you. Maybe you don't require it in your life, but still you get influenced. So at that time, these ideas were there to influence the people, because social media was not there to influence, right? So in this way, people got influenced. Now the sculptures of these period, they depict many dancing postures. So it is also again very common that dancing postures were there in this sculpture. The Sittana Vasal paintings are there. They belong to this period only, which are the commentary called Dakshin Chitra. It was compiled during the reign of Mahendra Varman I, who had the title of Chitrakar Puli. Okay, he took title like Vichitra Chitta, Chitrakar Puli. Why? Because he was fond of painting and making these kind of drawings. So this is again a very important part which you can remember for prelims. If you want, you can write it down. Important point it is. Make a star and write that the commentary on Dakshin Chitra was compiled during the reign of Mahendra Varman I, who had the title Chitrakar Puli, which is in the Sitan Vasal paintings. The Sitan Vasala paintings. Okay. Now, we have covered the art and culture of Pallavas also now. We already discussed the polity yesterday, so it is now ended. Now let's talk about their rivals, Chalukyas, their neighbors and their rivals. Sometimes it is said that the worst kind of life you can experience is when you have bad neighbors. Any of you having bad neighbors? Have you experienced having someone who is your neighbor but not very friendly, not very helpful, not very good? Sometimes you expect something and that is not fulfilled. Yes, a very good example is there that we had leaders like Ramadas and so many other saints who traveled India for 12 years and sometimes for more than that. After traveling for 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, they wrote something. They wrote, those lyrics, songs, ideas. So after such a, big time of travel, such a, big duration of experience, they used to write something. Nowadays, you look at the, composers. They write something just by, thinking about it. Sometimes I think that they even don't give it a second thought that what exactly they are composing and writing. If you look at the songs of some famous lyricists are there like Tony Kakkad. They make songs in which there is no meaning. They just repeat the words and they just put a music to it, and then there is no second thought. So you can say that at that time composers really had to put a lot of mind to make something. Now today the first topic which we are starting right now is the Chalukyan Empire. There we will discuss the details of Pulakesin II. Briefly we have already covered it. But again, we will discuss the administration, social life. Then we will discuss Rashtrakutas, because Chalukyas were replaced by Rashtrakutas. And then we will discuss the society and the art and culture of Rashtrakutas also. Okay, so if you see this in the map, this is the Chalukyan Empire, and here only Rashtrakutas will come later. Okay, so first Chalukyas, and then we will discuss Rashtrakutas in the same location, here only. Okay, so when Chalukyas were there, they had fight with Pallavas in this side. Okay, so here we had Pallavas. So Chalukyas and Pallavas used to fight. We have already covered it. I have already discussed this with you many times. So I believe that I don't need to repeat the same topic again and again. Now let's discuss Chalukyas. So Chalukyas ruled from 543 AD to 755 AD. Okay, so you can say that it's the similar time period when Pallavas were there, and they also ended when Pallavas were ended. Okay, so both Padosi, they got ended together only. Okay, and then new people came, new neighbors came, and then these new neighbors known as Cholas and Rashtrakutas again started fighting. Okay, now we can see here that first of all, one more point is there. Right, so the Western Chalukyas, they ruled over an extensive area, okay, which I have shown you in the map. It is the area in the Deccan, and they ruled about 2 centuries, after which Rashtrakutas became powerful. Okay, so it was a very long period of time, and you know, the offshoot means the expansion. So basically there was a point of expansion where Chalukyan Empire was at its peak, and from there only the eastern Chalukyas of Vatapi, the eastern Chalukyas of Vengi also came. So the empire of Chalukyas got divided into 2 parts, the western Chalukyas of Vatapi or Badami, and the eastern Chalukyas of Vengi. I hope you remember that where was Vengi. Can you tell me in the map? It is somewhere here. Okay, so this is a big empire. In the eastern part it got extended, where they controlled Vengi. Okay, so Vengi became the capital of eastern Chalukyas, and the Badami or Vatapi became the capital of Western Chalukya. So we will call them Western Chalukyas here and Eastern Chalukyas here. So who are more powerful? Tell me. Who are more powerful? Western Chalukyas are more powerful, or Eastern Chalukyas? Or who are having the bigger empire? Who will have more control? Who are the main Chalukyas? Main leaders? Yes, Western Chalukyas, exactly. Western Chalukyas were main, they were bigger, they had more areas, they were more powerful. Okay, so Vengi was also there. So so we had the Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi and the Chalukyas of Kalyani, or the Chalukyas of Badami or Vatapi, because Kalyani area also came in the western part. Founder is Pulakesin I, with the Vatapi or Badami as its capital. Then Pulakesin II came. Pulakesin II ruled from 608 to 642 AD. He is a bigger ruler. He is the most important ruler. He had a whole inscription which was issued by him, in which it is said that he had many achievements, like he fought with the Kadambas also of Banvasi, where he defeated them, and then he defeated the Gangas of Mysore and established his suzerainty everywhere. The Ganga ruler Durvinita accepted his overlordship and even gave his daughter in the marriage to Pulakesin II. So Pulakesin II defeated everyone. He defeated Banvasi, he defeated the ruler of Gangas, Mysore of Gangas, Gangas of Mysore, and then he defeated the Pallavas also. They, the capture of northern territory of Pallavas happened during the time of Pulakesin II. Then he defeated Harshavardhan also on the banks of river Narmada. He put a check on the ambition of Harsha's ambition to conquer South India. There was an expedition against Pallavas where Pulakesin II emerged victorious. Then Battle of Vatapi happened later when these Pallava rulers, they wanted to take their revenge. Okay, so Narasimha Varman came, and here Narasimha Varman defeated Pulakesin II. So Pulakesin II suffered humiliation and defeat in the hands of Narasimha Varman, the Pallava ruler, near Kanchi in 642 AD. The Chalukya capital Vatapi was completely captured and destroyed, after which he took the title. What was the title Narasimha Varman took after defeating Pulakesin II? I have told this 100 times to you. I expect the right comment right now. So most important event is the visit of Hyun Sang to his kingdom. Basically, Hyun Sang came during the time of Harshvardhan, so he travelled in the south also. The successor of Pulakesin II is Vikramaditya, who consolidated the Chalukyan kingdom again. He wanted to take the revenge of death of his father. So, he again plundered the Pallava capital, Kanchi. After this plunder, Pallavas became very, very weak. We will see that they will become very, very weak. Yes, the right answer is given by Sri Lakshmi and Sundari. Vatapi Konda. Right, means destroyer of Vatapi. Okay, or not destroyer, but the conqueror of Vatapi. Okay, the last of the ruler was Kirti Varman II from the this dynasty of Chalukyas. He was defeated by Danti Durga, the founder of Rashtrakuta dynasty. So Danti Durga, who was Danti Durga? He was a feudal lord. He was a Samant. He used to work under Chalukyas, and then he started his new empire. So you can write this part, please write this line, because now this will be connected to Rashtrakutas. We have not discussed anything about Rashtrakutas. So today for the very first time I am starting the Rashtrakuta dynasty with you. So please write this point. The last ruler of Pallava dynasty was Kirti Varman II. He was defeated by Danti Durga, the founder of Rashtrakuta dynasty. Okay. So yes, I asked you about neighbors. Okay, and I saw that one example of Pakistan is given. Yes, but I am, I can see that this is a very big example. But at a small level, if you see that you have a neighbor near to the house, so if you talk about common people, you will see so many common mess will be there. Okay, a lot of problems will be there. A lot of issues will be there in the society when neighbors will fight. Here also neighbors are fighting. Why they are fighting? Tell me. For what they are fighting? They are fighting due to boundary disputes, because neighbors basically they always have a common wall. You must be having a common wall with your neighbor, right? So just imagine if your neighbor tries to capture the common wall. If he puts some pots of flowers on that common wall saying that I'm just doing my gardening, don't worry, I'm not taking away any of the area. Or if they grow a tree on the boundary saying that this tree will cover the area and whatever coverage will be there will be mine, how will you react? The neighbors can always have some common area in between, and that common area will become the reason for the fight. Okay, it will always happen. So here also similar situations were there. If we talk about administration and social life under Chalukyas, it was highly centralized. I hope I told you this is just an exception, guys. Okay, because in all the other South Indian kingdoms, everywhere decentralized administration was there. Okay, decentralized administration, opposite was there, but here centralized administration only in the Chalukyas empire. So centralized administration, unlike that of the Pallavas and the Cholas, village autonomy was absent. No village autonomy, no panchayat system at all. They had a great maritime power, good navy, and they also had a small standing army. The Badami Chalukya were Brahmanical and they were Hindus, but they gave respect to other religions also. Like Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulkesin II, composed the Aihole inscription, and he was a Jain. He was not a Hindu. So it shows that they gave respect to other religions, they gave patronage to all the artists. Please write this point, it is important for your exam. Make a star and write it, or make a box and then write it, that the Badami Chalukyas were Brahmanical Hindus, but they gave respect to other religions. Example, Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulkesin II, who composed the Aihole inscription, was a Jain. Here, Aihole inscription is very, very important. Why? Look at the understanding here. Basically, Aihole inscription gives us a detail of the achievement. When we talk about Harshvardhan, there we discuss Aihole inscription. When we discussed Hyun Sang, there also Aihole inscriptions came. So this is very, very important. It's a source for your history. It's the source for the information. That's why these inscriptions are important. Then Vedic rites were given a lot of importance at that time. Pulkesin I performed the Ashwamedh sacrifice also, and Hyun Sang mentioned about the decline of Buddhism and progress of Jainism in the Western Deccan. Okay, that's why it's important. If we talk about their art and culture, there was a style known as Vesara style of temple architecture, which got developed in the Chalukyan kingdom. Basically, in the Vesara style of temple architecture, there is a mixture of Nagar and Dravidian style. Tell me why this mixture happened. However, I have discussed this with you, but let's see if you remember or not. The Vesara style of temple architecture, which was developed under Chalukyas, had the mixture of Nagar style from North India and Dravidian style from South India. And both the styles got a mixture. This hybrid form got developed, known as the Vesara style of temple architecture. Why? How this mixing happened? Why this mixing happened? There is a question by Avesh that how NCERT is helpful in understanding the chronology. No, it is not that helpful. To understand it in a better chronology, you can follow Tamil Nadu board history book, because in NCERT there is no chronology at all. Okay, so they have given the information in snippets. They discuss, most of the chapters are in snippets, in which few of the important points are given, and they jump to a new topic without any conclusion. That's why it is quite confusing. Yes. So, because of northern invasion, no. It is because of the location, guys. It is in the between of North India and South India. So, they will be able to have the artists coming from the both sides. These sculptors, artists, craftsmen, they came from both the areas. So ultimately the mixture of artists happened. So the Visara style reached its culmination only under Rashtrakuta dynasty. Later, when Rashtrakutas came in this area, they developed it more, and then the Hoysalas came. Hoysalas also ruled in this area only. So they started their Hoysala style of temple architecture, in which they used to follow the stellar ground plan, in which a star like ground plan was made in the temple, and there they used to make the zigzag pattern in the temple style. So you will see Hoysala style of temple architecture, Vesara style of temple architecture when you will read Nitin Singhania, when you'll have the separate art and culture syllabus with you. There, these styles are discussed in more detail. The structural temples at Aihole and Badami, Pattadakal are very big example of Vesara style. Cave temple architecture of Ajanta, Ellora, Nasik also are having examples of this time. The best specimen of Chalukya paintings can be seen in the Badami cave temples and in the Ajanta cave. You can see this is the cave temple at Ajanta. You can see the details. Look at the ceiling, guys. Can you see the details? Look at the walls. Such a small and, lace like detail is there. If we talk about the dividation of Chalukyan temple, there were two stages. Okay, like in Pallavas we saw 4 stages. Here we saw 2 stages. In the first stage, temples at Aihole and Badami came, and the important temples found at Aihole are among the 70 temple. The temple of Aihole is the most important, and there we have Lakhan temple. It is a low flat roofed structure which is consisting a pillared hall. Then Durga temple is there, which is resembles the same pillared hall again. And then we have Huchi Maligodi temple, the Jain temple at Megupattu. Let me just adjust this particular diagram for you so that you can read it in a better way. Okay, so I hope now it is more clear to you. So basically Durga temple, it looks like the pillared hall, like a Buddha Chaitya, as I was telling you. Then Huchi Malagudi temple, the Jain temple at Meguti. This is the cave temple of Badami. Here you can see this is the cave temple of Badami. So these kind of temples, Jain temples, Buddhist temples, like features from Jainism, Buddhism, everything was taken. Then temples at Badami where Mukteshwara temple and Melaguti Shivalaya temples are important. Then in the second stage, we saw more developments in which sizes really started having a bigger, variation. So here the Pattadakal temple comes in the second stage. This is a Virupaksha temple which is at the Pattadakal area. Look at the details. Look at the shikhar and the kind of pattern which they are following. Okay, you will see that it is now being more congested, more detailed. So there are 10 temples here. 4 are in the northern style, which is Nagar style, like Papanath temple, and remaining 6 are of Dravidian style, the South Indian style, like Sangameshwar temple and the Virupaksha temple. The Virupaksha temple, which was built by one of the queens of Vikramaditya II, is built on the model of Kailashnath temple at Kanchipuram, which you can see in the image here. This is the Virupaksha temple. And after all these things, after basically this particular temple, as it was done by Vikramaditya II, we know that after Vikramaditya II, the downfall of Chalukya started, and then Rashtrakutas will appear in this area. So who was the founder? Danti Durg. I hope you remember Danti Durg is the founder. So Danti Durg started Rashtrakuta Empire. So they were the Kannada speaker. Okay, they used to speak Kannada language, and they ruled from 755 to 975 AD, which is a very long period of time. They also participated in the tripartite struggle for winning the Kannauj, but they could not defeat the Gurjar Pratiharas because Gurjar Pratiharas in the western India were more powerful. But Rashtrakutas, when India was facing Islamic invasion in the north, at that time, Rashtrakutas ruled in the central and south India for a very long time. Look at the time period, 755 to 975 AD. This is the time of Islamic invasion, no? So when Islamic invasion was happening in North India, Rashtrakutas ruled in the South India. Okay, so Rashtrakutas were of Kannada origin. They used to speak Kannada language. Founder is Danti Durg, who defeated Gurjars also, captured the Malwa area from them, which is in Gujarat. So he was a very powerful ruler. Then he annexed the Chalukyan kingdom by defeating Kirtivarman II. Then after Danti Durg, next ruler is Krishna. He defeated Gangas and the eastern Chalukyas of Vengi, and completely got the entire area of central and Deccan India. Then he built a good rock cut monolithic Kailash temple at Ellora. The Kailashnath temple at the Ellora cave is very big, important temple cave, and it's even today. If you can watch the video there on YouTube, there is a video of this temple. You can check the details, and it's very beautiful. Okay, and then after this, next ruler came Govinda III. He is again very important. He is important king of this dynasty who achieved victories over the North Indian kingdoms. So many fights happened with North Indian and South Indian rulers at this time. His successor was Amogh Varsha I, who ruled from 815 to 880 AD. You can see this is a very long period of time. I can see that it is a period of time where a ruler ruled for around 65 years, which is a very long period. Okay, so Amogh Varsha I ruled from 815 AD to 880 AD. His reign is popular for the cultural development and a lot of stability which got achieved. You can see that this ruler is a great ruler who ruled for a very long period of time. So Rashtrakutas ruled like this. Amogh Varsha I was a follower of Jainism, and he was also the patron of letters. Means a lot of writers were there in his court, and he wrote the famous Kannada work known as Kavi Rajmarga. Okay, and he also wrote Jina Sena and Kavi Rajmarga. You know, these two important works are there which you need to remember. As Amogh Varsha I is a ruler, so wherever something comes from a ruler, or if any book is coming from a ruler, this will always be very important for the exam. They might ask this in the exam. So remember that Amogh Varsha I, he wrote the famous Kannada work Kavi Rajmarga. Even at that time, Kannada works were not very popular. Okay, there were no many writers for the Kannada literature. So initially, the development of Kannada language was done by Amogh Varsha only. So that's why the contribution of Amogh Varsha I in developing Kannada language is very important. Then he had also built the Rashtrakuta capital, the city of Malkhed, which is also known as Manyakhed. Then Krishna III came. He is the next ruler who again ruled for a good time. So almost 35 years. So 936 to 968 AD he ruled, successor of Amogh Varsha I. If we talk about the expeditions of Krishna III, he marched against Cholas because Cholas now became the neighbors. Okay, so Cholas, and then he defeated them in Takkolam, the battle of Takkolam, and they also captured Tanjore, the capital of Cholas, Imperial Cholas. Okay, he also occupied Rameshwaram for some time. He built several temples in the conquered territories, including Krishneshwara temple at Rameshwaram. Can you see that making a temple in conquered territory, why it is important? What will it signify? Why they were making temples in the conquered territory? Was there any benefit of doing this? What's the benefit? Yes. Jina Sena is a court poet. Not a court poet, but he was a poet who used to live there. He also used to write a lot up in Kannada. Yes. So throughout his reign, basically he possessed the Tondai Mandalam region, including the capital Kanchipuram, and this is something which makes him important, Krishna III, because he had Tondai Mandalam for a very long time, Kanchi for a very long time. And when you make the temples in the conquered area, it's like a showcase of your authority in that region, that now you are the ruler, so that you can influence the mindset of common public. It's like a declaration of your victory, of your success. Okay. Now, after his death, the power of Rashtrakuta, dynasty declined, and ultimately Rashtrakuta empire, fell down, and you will see rise of new empires later. Like in Deccan area, we will see the rise of Bahmani kingdom, and in extreme South Peninsular India, their Vijayanagar Empire will come. Okay, so that we will discuss later. Right now, see the Rashtrakuta Empire administration. Basically, they also followed the decentralized administration. Okay, decentralized administration was there. If we talk about the village administration, it carried on by the village headmen. Village assemblies played a very significant role in the village administration. If we talk about the dividation, provinces called Rashtras were there under the control of Rashtrapati. Okay, so this kind of subdivision was there. Bhukti, was again then divided in this way. Like today we have division of India, like we have divided India in different states. States are divided into districts. Districts are divided into blocks. Blocks are divided into villages. Okay, so here Bhukti means a block only. Okay, so Bhukti is like a block in which 50 to 70 villages came under the control of a Bhogpati. Okay, and if you will mix many Bhuktis, you will get one state which is like a Rashtra. So here Rashtra means state. Okay, like a state we have today in India. So many states are there. So provinces were known as Rashtra. So there were the controller of a Rashtra was a Rashtrapati. So here just understand that they will have many Rashtrapatis because so many states will there. In every state there will be a Rashtrapati. Like today we have only one Rashtrapati. We have only one president, but they had different Rashtrapatis in each and every state, in each and every province there was a Rashtrapati. Okay, in villages they had a village headman. In village area, village assemblies were there, like panchayats you can say. Clear? And then yes, villages are divided into wards today. Now, next important thing is the society and economy. Basically, the Hindu sects of Vaishnavism and Shaivism, it flourished. Now, there was a progress of Jainism under the patronage of Rashtrakuta, which says that somehow they were again very tolerant, right? So, these kings and officers, they followed Vaishnavism or Shaivism, yet there was a progress of Jainism. Okay, and amongst 1/3 population of the Deccan, they were Jain. So this is a very important point, that even if they were following any other religion, Jainism had a growth. Okay, so some prosperous Buddhist settlements were also there. Buddhism also saw the growth, like Kanheri, Sholapur, Dharwar. In all these areas, so many Buddhist settlements were there. So all the religions got developments. If we talk about the economy, it was flourishing. It was in a very good condition. There was active commerce between Deccan and the Arabs. And I told you that these Arab travelers and traders, when they came to India, they saw big palaces, wealth of India, and they got attracted to it. Ultimately, we will see the Arab invasion in India due to all these, mixing, trading and commercial activities only. The Rashtrakuta kings promoted the Arab trade by maintaining friendship with them, but Arabs, they will not maintain a friendship, but they will become the invaders. If we talk about the cultural contributions of Rashtrakuta, the Rashtrakutas widely patronized Sanskrit literature. This is an important point. Even the Kannada literature. So you can write it in the point that Rashtrakutas widely patronized Sanskrit literature and Kannada literature. Both the languages got promotion. We had many big scholars. Name of scholars are important for prelims. You can make a box for them. Like Trivikarma, very important scholar. Trivikarma wrote Nala Champu. And we have Kavi Rahasya. It was composed by Halyuddha. Halyuddha during the reign of Krishna III, who was a great ruler. Then there was a Jain tradition also which got flourished. Of course, So many Jain and Buddhist settlements were going on. So Jain literature also flourished under the patronage of Rashtrakuta king Amogavarsha, who was a Jain who was a Jain himself. He also patronized Jain scholars, and his teacher Jinasena was there, who composed a very good important book, Parasava Udaya, a biography of Parsav in verses. Who was Parsav? Can you tell me? Do you remember who was Parsav? Who was Parsav? Hindi is also coming. We are launching the Hindi channel. We have prepared it. I have already discussed this with the team, and we have made all the basic arrangements for it. The same, lectures, the same series, and so many other new lectures will be there coming in the Hindi language on our new channel, which is Hindi or English. In bilingual, we will launch it. Don't worry. Just wait for a few more days. No, not Rishabhnath. Yes, Bodhisattva, of course. Yes, he was the 23rd Tirthankar. Exactly. Sundari, right answer. So he was a Tirthankar, he was a Dharma Guru. Okay, Rishabdev. Not Rishabdev, Rishabdev was the first one. But here Parsavnath, who came just before Mahavira. Okay, so Parsavnath was a Tirthankar. So this, was written by Jinasena, Parsava Budhaya, the biography of Parsavnath. It was in verses. Okay. Then Gunabhadra wrote the Adi Purana, which is the life story of various Jain saints. Then we have Sakatayan wrote the grammar work known as Amog Vritti. Amog Vritti is a grammar work. It is again very, very important. So this is again a kind of a good example of the art and cultural and literatural development. Then there was a great mathematician of this particular period known as Veeracharya. He was the author of Ganit Saram. Veeracharya, you can write the name, Veeracharya, author of Ganit Saram. A great mathematician. Mathematicians are really a magician only, because I am very weak in math, so I feel like they are really magicians. Okay, now if we talk about the period, it is the beginning of Kannada literature. I told you that they used to speak Kannada, and for the very first time this became popular, because before this there was no popularization or patronization for Kannada. So Amog Varsha's Kavi Rajmarga, which he wrote, it was the first poetic work in Kannada language. So this is for the very first time which we saw. Then Pampa was the greatest of Kannada poet, and there is a famous work which was by him, Vikram Sena Vijaya. So Pampa and Punna. Punna was also famous Kannada poet at this point, who wrote Shanti Purana. So remember Pampa and Punna. Easy to remember. Small names. Generally in South Indian names we have so many big names, right? But Pampa Punna is very small and easy to remember. So you will remember it. Now let's see the art and cultural development. So you can see this is the Kailashnath temple at Ellora. So art and architecture of Rashtrakutas, they were fond of art and cultural development. So that development is found in the Ellora caves and Elephanta caves. Why it is known as Elephanta cave? Can you tell me? Because so many big elephant statues are there. Okay, like the Kailashnath temple at Ellora. It is most important. I told you that it was excavated during the reign of Krishna I. And this Kailashnath temple, it is carved out of a massive block. Okay, it is a massive block of rock. Okay, 200 feet long rock is there, and 100 feet in breadth and height. The temple consists of 4 parts, and the main shrine is there, where the entrance and the gateway is there. Then the immediate shrine of Nandi and that mandapa is there, which is surrounding the courtyard comes. So it's a complete temple, looks like a real structural temple. The temple stands on a big lofty flint of 25 feet high. So a very high platform is there on which the temple stands. So that's great, and it shows such a high level of patience at that time craftsmen had. Okay, if we talk about the interior wall of the temples, there is a pillared hall which has 16 square pillars, and the sculpture of goddess Durga is shown as slaying buffalo demon. Okay, and then one another sculpture is there, Ravan's sculpture. It was making attempts to lift the Mount Kailash, the abode of Shiva. I hope you remember that there is a story uh, which says that Ravan, he used to worship Shiva. He was a great devotee, and he used to live in Lanka, of course. So he wanted to shift the abode of Shiva, the house of Shiva, Kailash, to the Sri Lanka. So he wanted to lift the Mount Kailash to Sri Lanka and keep it there. So he tried doing it. Okay, it is said that he tried doing it. So this image is shown. Also, it is said that he wanted to meet Shiva and asked him to come and shift to the Lanka. So to do so, he climbed the Mount Kailash, and while climbing, he started singing a song. He composed a song. Do you know what do we call it today? Shivatandav Strotam. Yes. So Shivatandav Strotam, it was composed by Ravana in praise of Lord Shiva when he was trying to climb the Mount Kailash, which is very high, and as it's very tough to climb it, so to motivate himself, he started singing that song, and then he climbed it, and ultimately he was trying to ask Shiva to shift in the Lanka. Okay, so these scenes are there. The scenes of Ramayana were also depicted on the walls. The general characteristic of Kailash temple are more of Dravidian style. Elephanta cave is also there. Elephanta is an island near Bombay. It was originally called Sripuri. It was under the control of Marathas also. So it called Elephanta because Portuguese, when they entered in this area, they saw a large figure of elephants. So that's why they named it Elephanta. There is a close similarity between sculptures of Ellora and Elephanta. At the entrance, you will see huge figure of Dwarpalaks are there. Dwarpalaks are characters who always stand on the dwars or the gateways. In the walls of Prakara around the Sanctum Sanctorum is the Garbhagriha of the main temple. There are niches in which images of Shiva is shown in various forms, like Natraj Shiva, Gangadhar, when river Ganga, when river Ganga, the wish was taken for river Ganga to enter on the earth, so that some fertility comes to the earth. So Ganga had such a high fall of stream that if it could come directly to the earth, if it will fall on the earth directly, it may create a hollow on the earth and it will destroy the surface. So that's why God Shiva, he took this decision that Ganga, before coming or falling to the earth, will come from the here the that kind of the kind of what they make, a big style of hairstyle which we have on the Shiva. So from there she will enter. So ultimately that image is shown as Gangadhar, where he is having the dharan of Ganga, in which trying to manage the balance of that stream. Okay, then Ardhanareshwar in which half Shiva and half Parvati, both the energies are shown. Then Somskanda, where he is doing the Somapan. So in different forms Shiva is shown. Then there is a Trimurti also. Trimurti is again very, very important. Basically, Trimurti, the most imposing figure is in this temple, is around 6 meter high sculpture. Okay, and it is said that they represent the three aspects of Shiva: Shiva as a creator, Shiva as a preserver, and Shiva as a destroyer. Okay, so this is Trimurti. So it is said that Shiva is he is always considered that a very important god. Why? Because he is the creator also. He creates it, he preserves it, and then he destroys it. So when we see Shiva as a destroyer, we feel that there is some negative image attached to it. But it should not never be negative, because whatever will be, born will have a death. Okay, it is always decided. It is pre-decided. And if there will be no destruction, if there will be no destroyer, then there is no way of having a new life. Okay, if you will keep a thing for a very long time, it will smell very badly, it will be spoiled after a time. So everything is having a lifespan, a time span. After that time span, we need to end it so that we get to see a new birth again. So that's why these three, things are shown. Then after all these things, we saw the development of Chola Empire. So basically Cholas and Rashtrakutas were contemporary of each other, and now when I say Chola, I am discussing Imperial Cholas with you, who expanded their boundaries beyond the Bay of Bengal. They crossed Bay of Bengal, you can see. They reached in all these areas. Here Sri Vijaya used to rule in this area, Sri Vijaya. Here also they reached a very long area, and they used to trade with so many, different countries. They crossed the South China Sea also, and you can see such a high level of expansion they made. Okay, so all these pink areas are the Chola subordinates. Okay, they had influenced all these regions. They made temples, they spread their cultures, the Indian culture, in all these areas. So this is very, very important. Okay, so this is the last of the South Indian dynasty which I need to cover with you, because we have covered Chalukyas, Pallavas, Rashtrakutas. Now we will discuss Cholas, and then South Indian kingdoms will end. Okay, so are you ready for Cholas? Yes, Shivajata. I will not stop in English. The series will continue in English only also. I can see that some students are there who have this misbelief that once the bilingual channel will start, then we will stop this English series. No, not at all. There is no point of stopping this one. I told you that we will finish all the NCERT 6 to 12th. Okay, we have covered the ancient part. Now medieval part is, we have achieved 10% of medieval also. So after completing medieval, we will do modern. We will also do the part of art and culture, post independence. We will cover everything. So you don't need to worry at all. And even if we will start the separate base for the bilingual and Hindi students, still this time is fixed for you. 9 to 11 every day I'll be there. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Just be consistent, and you also try to revise things from your side, because a lot of content is there, no? So if you'll not revise, then it is of no use, because ultimately without revision you will forget everything. Fine. So let's complete Cholas also today itself. After completing Cholas, from tomorrow we can start the pure medieval Indian history from the Rajputs and the tripartite struggle. We will start it from Gurjar Pratiharas tomorrow. Okay, we will discuss how in the Western India Gurjar Pratiharas came, and that will be very interesting. However, the topic which we are starting right now is also very interesting. The Cholas, Imperial Cholas, because they were the one who really crossed Bay of Bengal. It was a very big deal at that time, guys, because they had such a high class navy that they could do so, right? So the prominence started from 9th century AD. Their capital was Tanjore. They are also known as Imperial Cholas. They started the empire comprising the major portion of South India, and they also extended their area in the Sri Lanka and the Malaya Peninsula. Founder was Vijayalaya. This you need to remember, that Vijayalaya was the founder of Imperial Chola line. He captured Tanjore from Muttrayars in 815 AD, and then he built a temple of Durga. So still here you can see that once they got something, after, getting one empire, they used to make a temple. So making a temple, it was like a showcase of their success. That's why when the invaders will come to India, they will also start attacking from the temple only, because they knew that temple is the respect of king. Temple shows the authority of king. So if we will attack the temple, it will be the authority, it will be attack on the authority or the power of the king. Temple represented the power and the success of the king. That if the temple is there, then of course the king is the most powerful person of that particular area. Okay, then here in this area, basically we saw the rise of next ruler after Vijayalaya. Important one is Parantak I. He is important early Chola ruler. He defeated the Pandyas and the ruler of Ceylon, the ruler of Sri Lanka. There was a battle of Takkolam. So this is very important, where Pratanka got defeated by Rashtrakuta. So I told you that Rashtrakutas used to fight with Cholas, no? So Rashtrakutas were the neighbors of Cholas. So Rashtrakuta defeated Parantak in the battle of Takkolam, and by this battle of Takkolam, some kind of mishappening happened with them, but they survived for a very long time. So being a great builder of temples, he provided the Viman of the famous Nataraj temple. So already Nataraj temple was there. Viman is the Shikhar, the topmost part of the temple. So it was made by this ruler Parantak, and this famous Nataraj temple got it. It is at Chittambaram. So in the Chittambaram area, this temple was there. So in the Nataraj temple, the Shikhar, the topmost part known as Viman, which is there, you can call it Viman also, Shikhar also. Okay, anything you can call. So it is with a golden roof. Okay, so this golden roof was provided by Parantak I. Okay, so that's why he was a great ruler. Then Uttara Merur inscription that gave us a detailed account of the village administration under the Chola. It belongs to his reign only. So Uttara Merur inscriptions are again very important for us to know about the village area. And of course, they also followed decentralized administration. Panchayat system was there. Then next important ruler came Rajraj I. About him, you need to write few points. This is a very important ruler. Please write Rajraj I. Ruled from 985 to 1014 AD, 1014 AD. And here Cholas regained their supremacy, because they had fight with Rashtrakutas. So under this ruler Rajendra I, they got to see the supremacy again. And then his son Rajendra, when he came, then again more rise in power happened. So Rajraj I and Rajendra, both the rulers are important for us. So during the time of Rajraj I, important military conquest happened. There was a defeat of Chera ruler Bhaskar Vivarman. Bhaskar Vivarman was defeated in a naval battle. Okay, so the naval battle of Kandula Saralai was there, and after this the Chera navy was completely destructed. Okay, so Cheras were completely defeated, and after this one there was a defeat of Pandya ruler also. So Cheras and Pandyas were there in the extreme end of the South India. Okay, so there Amar Bhujanga was there, the Pandya ruler. So this defeat happened, and then establishment of Chola authority over the Pandya country happened, after which Cholas were there in the extreme south also. They defeated Cheras also, they defeated Pandyas also. So Cholas remained very powerful in the entire South India, in the entire peninsular India. Then the conquest of Mysore region happened. The Gangavadi, Tadigapadi, Nalampadi, all these areas were captured by Cholas. The ruler Rajendra I, sorry, not Rajendra, Rajraj I. So after Rajraj I, Rajendra will be there. Then Rajraj I also annexed the northern Sri Lanka, which is important. Please write this point. Put the subheading like this: Rajraj I with his duration 985 to 1014 AD, and then write annexation of northern Sri Lanka, full stop. The capital was shifted from Anuradhapura to Polonnaruwa, where a Shiv temple was built. Where a Shiv temple was built. Okay. Then second point is again very important. This also you need to write. Victory over growing power of Western Chalukya. Write this one also. Because Western Chalukyas of Kalyani, Vatapi or Badami, Western Chalukyas, they were also growing. So they got defeated by this ruler, Rajraj I. Rajraj I captured the Raichur Doab area, which is the most fertile region of South India, most fertile. It is between Tungabhadra river and Krishna river. So this area was captured by them. Banavasi and the other places were captured by them. So the Chola power extended up to the river Tungabhadra now. Then they restored the Vengi throne by defeating Telugu Chondas. Okay, Rajaraj gave his daughter Kundavai in marriage to Vimaladitya. This is again very important. Rajaraj's last military achievement was a naval expedition which was against the Maldive Island, which were conquered. So they got the Maldive area. This one also you need to write about the Maldive Islands. Okay, please write it down. Any doubts till now, guys? Let me know if you need to discuss anything. Then there are some titles assumed by Rajaraja. Basically, this is a title, Mumiddi Chola, very important. Then Jayan Konda, Siva Padaskera. These are the titles. You can write these titles also, because sometimes they ask about titles in prelims. Basically, Rajaraj I was a great devotee of Shiva. You will see that Shiva is more famous in South India and Krishna is more famous in North India. Like Vaishnavism will be more famous in North India and Eastern India. Shaivism will be more famous in South India. Like generally. Okay. Fine. Now, after this, he completed the construction of famous Rajarajeshwar temple or the Brihadeshwar temple at Tanjore in 110 AD. He also helped the construction of Buddhist monastery at Nagpattinam, which shows that he was very tolerant. Okay. Then next important powerful ruler came. He is also very important. Rajendra I, who ruled from 1012 to 144 AD. He continued his father's policy. Same policies, same level of success, same level of development of aggressive conquest and expansion. He defeated Mahind V, the king of Sri Lanka, and seized the southern Sri Lanka. So already northern Sri Lanka was seized by Cholas. Now southern Sri Lanka also came under the control of Cholas, and so whole of the Sri Lanka became the part of Chola Empire. So please write this point. Write this one. Rajendra I defeated Mahind V, the king of Sri Lanka, and seized the southern Sri Lanka, bringing the whole of Sri Lanka as a part of the Chola Empire. He reasserted the Chola authority over Cheras and Pandya. He defeated Jayasimha II of the Western Chalukya king, and then river Tungbhadra was recognized as the boundary between the Cholas and Chalukyas. Later Chalukyas fell and then Rashtrakutas came in their place. He defeated the number of rulers on its way of expedition to North India also. The most important thing is that he defeated Mahipal I of Bengal. This you need to write. And to commemorate this successful victory of North Indian campaign, he founded a city of Gangai Konda Cholapuram. And then he constructed the famous Rajeshwaram temple also in that city. So please write this one, Gangai Konda Cholapuram. There is a temple also, Gangai Konda Cholapuram temple. So why he made it? After defeating Mahipal I of Bengal. Okay. Then naval expedition to Kadram or Sri Vijaya happened, which was a complete success. He assumed the title Kadarambam Kondan or Kadram Kondan. You can see this Sri Vijaya area in the map again. This is Sri Vijaya. Here we saw that Rajendra I came and he got the victory till this part, after which he took this title of Kadaram Kondan. Okay. The most famous titles of this ruler Rajendra I are Mudukondam, Gangai Kondan, Kadaram Kondan, Pandit Cholan. Like his father, he also was a devotee of Shiva. He made many temples of God in his new capital, Gangai Konda Cholapuram. It was his new capital. He made liberal donations to these temples and to Lord Nataraj temple of Chittambaram. He was also tolerant towards Vaishnav and Buddhist sects. So all these points made him a very great ruler. This is the Gangai Konda Cholapuram area, which is near Nagpattinam. You can see Nagpattinam was a very important port. Please look at the important locations like Kalyani, our western Chalukya, eastern Chalukyas had Vengi, Krishna river is here, Tungbhadra river became the new boundary later. This is Gangavadi, Tanjavur, Madurai, where Pandyas used to rule. They were also defeated by Cholas. This is Anuradhapura and Polanaruva. So later the capital was shifted from Anuradhapura to Polanaruva, as we have already written this. I hope you remember. We have written all the points related to Kanchipuram. This is Tondai Mandalam. Look at the important rivers like Godavari, Tungbhadra, Krishna, Pennar, Kaveri. Try to look at this map, read it, analyze it, take your time. Take 1 minute and look at this map, and if you have any doubts related to any of the area, please let me know. Yes, they expanded till the part of some Southeast Asian countries. Yes. You can say this is right, Saurabh. Like father, like son. Exactly. Parantak Chola was also having titles, but we don't have any important one to be remembered. We need to remember Rajendra I and Rajaraj I. These two are more important and their titles are more important for us. Because so many rulers are there, if you will read about titles of each and every ruler, then that will be of no use. Only important titles we need to remember. Fine. Now, let's come to the next important part. Other rulers of this particular dynasty. Then after this, I'll just end the session. Okay, this is the last part of Cholas. So we had Kolu Tungai I, Kolu Tunga III. Kolu Tunga I was the grandson of Rajendra I. So it was because through his daughter Amanga Devi. So during the reign of Kolutunga I, the Sri Lanka, became independent. So this you can remember, that when Sri Lanka became independent, after that it remained independent. Okay, now Sri Lanka is a different country today. So how it started? Otherwise, it could have been the part of India. So you can see and remember this here, that Kolutunga I was the grandson of Rajendra I through his daughter Ammanga Devi, and during his reign only Sri Lanka became independent. And during the ruler of Kolutunga III, central authority became weak and the rise of feudatories and the emergence of Pandya power happened again, which was a challenge against the Chola supremacy, and ultimately downfall happened. Then Rajendra III was the last Chola king who was defeated by Jatavarman Sundar Pandya II, the Pandya ruler, and the Chola country was absorbed into the Pandya empire. This you can write. This is a very important point. In your notes, make a box and write this one. Rajendra III was the last Chola king who was defeated by Jatavarman Sundar Pandya II. The Chola country was absorbed into the Pandya empire. Okay. Now look at this Pandya here. This is Pandya. Can you see it? Look at the map carefully. Very important map. Yes, map is always helpful, of course. Clear? So we have understood the end of Cholas also. I hope you understood about Pallavas, how they started, how end happened, Chalukyas, how they started, how ended, Rashtrakuta, starting, ending, Cholas also we covered. So we have covered all South Indian kingdoms. Clear? So now what next? The next important thing is their achievements, art and cultural development. So let's complete it quickly. So as I told you that they had a very strong central government, but decentralized administration was there. King was always at the top. Resources of Chola Empire increased because their power and prestige of monarchy was increasing with the expansion. The big capital cities like Tanjore, Gangaikonda, Cholapuram, the royal court of their area, they had many extensive grants to the temples. They used to patronize a lot of art, and it was to reveal the authority of king also. It had many officials called as Perundanam and Sirundanam. So they had administrative machineries like this, Perundanam and Sherundanam. You can write it, because sometimes they just ask in prelims that what do you mean by Perundanam and Sirudanam. So you need to remember that it is related to their administrative machineries where they had many officials. Best part of land revenue is always there with the government, of course. So government got the best of its revenue from the land, most of its revenue from the land. So there was a land revenue department which was well organized for them, so that they collect the land tax on time. Okay, so it was known as Purva Thinakalam. Okay, it was very well organized. Urnattam is also very important. It was a residential portion of the village, and these and other lands, such as the land belonging to the temples, were exempted from the tax because somehow they were given as donations. Okay, then Kolutunga I, when he became the ruler, he abolished a lot of tolls and he earned the title Sungam Taviratta Cholan, because he was a ruler who was very liberal and made many donations. So that's why he became popular. Okay, so remember the name Kolutunga I, as he abolished many tolls, so earned the title Sungam Taviratta Cholan. Okay. If we talk about their military, they had a regular standing army, elephants, cavalry, infantry, navy. The royal troops were called as Kaikalara Perumpadai. The personal troop within the royal troops were also there to defend the king, known as Velaikarar. Velaikarars are important, and they will have more importance because they will get a lot of land grants as their assignments. The Cholas paid special attention to their navy, and they controlled the Malabar and Coromandel coast, means the entire part of South Indian coastal trade was under their control. If we talk about their provincial administration, Chola Empire was divided into many towns or nagaram. Every nagar was under the administration of a council or nagarattar. Okay, then we had Mandalam, where royal princes or officers were in charge. Mandalams were divided into Valanadus or Nadus. So Valanadus were the areas under the Periyanattar. Periyanattar, I told you, they are the important officers, and Nadus are under Nattars. Okay, so Nadus had a number of autonomous villages under them. So it is like a block, you can say, which is consisting of many important villages, and royal princes will take care of this area. They will start having the governance in this area, and this is how they learn the governance. Okay, if we talk about the village assemblies, they also had sabhas. Okay, so sabha like gram sabha we have today. Then village was divided into 30 wards. Like today generally we say that panchayat, in which we have a panch coming from every ward. Okay, the officer, not officer, but the person who is elected from a ward is known as a ward member or a panch, right? So the term comes like panchayat is a meeting of 5 member. However, we can have more member than 5 in the panchayat. So here also sometimes a village was divided into 30 wards. Okay, so from every ward there will be one person. Okay, so each was to nominate its member, the ward member or panch, you can say. That panch will go to the village council, who will enter in the sabha. So the qualification to become a ward member was that ownership of at least 1/4 of the valley of land happened. Like, if you are living in that particular ward, so at least 1/4 valley of land you should have. Valley is a kind of a you can say a kind of a measurement which they used to follow. Okay, he should have his own residence. Above 30 years or and below 70 years of age he should be, and he should have the knowledge of Vedas. Some disqualification norms were also mentioned, like those who had been members of the committees for the past 3 years, they could be disqualified, or those who had failed to submit accounts as committee members, or if they failed to submit any of the thing which was asked from them, and those who had committed any sins or crimes, they were also disqualified. Those who had stolen the property of others also got disqualified. So the committee members were called as Variya Peru Makkal, and these committee members were very, very important in the village administration. Social life was fine. Of course, the same caste system, sati system was going on. Brahmins and Kshatris enjoyed special privileges. Inscriptions of the later period of Chola rule mention about 2 major divisions among the caste, which is Valangai and Idangai caste. So remember Vilangai and Idangai. Women position was not good. Practice of sati was prevalent. Devdasi system also came, which had the dancing girls attached with the temples. It emerged during this period only. Later, after independence, Supreme Court of India banned the Devdasi system. Do you know why they banned it? Who will tell me? See, basically in the Devdasi system, what they used to do, let's say there is a daughter, okay, in a house, and if they are very poor, if they don't want a girl child, they could donate that girl in the temple area. Okay, so now that girl, she will live in the temple, she will clean the temple premises, she will do the worship. In the evening times, she also used to practice a dance form, okay, which is from where the Bharatnatyam also comes. So she will practice the dance style, and she will that dance will be a devotional dance which is in the praise of God, and mythological themes were there in the dance style also. So those kind of themes and stories were depicted by this style. So this is also known as the Devdasi dance. So why she is known as Devdasi? She is the Devdasi, means Dasi of Deva. Okay, she is like a Dasi, she is like a a devotee of Deva. So she will be there in the temple only. She will live there, she'll eat there, she will sleep there, she will do whatever temple requires her to do. But sometimes what happened with these girls, that they got exploited by the priests of the temple, because she used to live in the temple area. So sometimes they were, without their consent, they got exposed and misused by the some people who were powerful in the temple authorities. So those powerful people had a lot of control in the life of devdasis. So that's why these devdasis started suffering. But it was to control their mindset, that they were given the name devdasi, and people also, society also accepted this kind of mishappening, saying that even if the priest is doing it, he is fine, because he is also representing the god. So ultimately, if she is doing it, she is making the god happy. So it's fine to serve the priest like this, even if it is being very physically. So that's why this Devdasi system later somehow became very problematic in society. It showed the very low level of mindset which people had at that time. Even after independence, it continued in the village areas for a very long period of time. People could not understand that it is a kind of exploitation, and they could not understand that it's not right for the will of the girl. So it took very long for the society to learn that there is some bad system which is going on in the Devdasi. Ultimately, when they understood, it got banned. And sometimes people, they understand when a rule is made by the government. Sometimes, government, they don't interfere in the religious activities, but in India, government can interfere when they see something wrong is happening. So this Devdasi system was there. Now both Shaivism and Vaishnavism continued to flourish during the Chola period. A number of temples were built, and the mathas were also there. In math, the learning activities used to happen, had great influence during this period. Both agriculture and industry flourished. The weaving industry, particularly the silk weaving at Kanchi, flourished. The commerce and trade were brisk with trunk road, or the Peruvazis and merchants guilds were there. So Peruvazis were also merchants only. They were merchants, they used to trade, and they were very rich people. Gold, silver, copper coins were issued. Commercial contacts between Chola and China, Sumatra, Java, Arabia were prevalent. Arabian horses were imported in large number to strengthen the cavalry. This is the gold coin of Rajaraja Chola. You can see. So again, you can see that we imported Arabian horses, right? So horses are very important for us. Okay. Yes, that's right. I can see that there is a comment, that still we have seen that some, other villages also used to follow this Devdasi system. Even today, it is sometimes followed in with a different name, known as Jogini, or sometimes it is, it is given a different term in village areas, in rural areas, but it is the same system like Devdasi only. Okay, so yes, it we can't say that it's 100% completely not happening anywhere, but things are improving now with the new laws, with more awareness. It is getting reduced, but we need to work more on it. We need to work more on the mindset of the public, so that society needs to accept that what is wrong in the name of religion. So when society understands it, then automatically things, they get resolved. We had many educational institutions during the time of Cholas. An inscription at Innayaram, then Thirumukkadal, Thirubhuvanai, they provide us the detail of colleges which existed in this part. Even the Vedas, epic subjects like mathematics, medicines were taught. Land endowments were made to run these institutions. The development of Tamil literature reached its peak during the Chola period, and we see that there is a very important book written by Thiruthakavadevar, and that book is Siva Kasintamani. Please write this one. Siva Skatimani, written by Thiruthakadevar, and Kundalaka Kesi, belong to the 10th century. They are the important literatures. Two masterpieces, Ramayana composed by Kamban and Periya Puranam or Tirutondara Puranam by Sekilar are important literatures of these time. Kamban and Sekilar are the authors. Ramayana composed by Kamban, the South Indian Ramayana basically, it's the flavor of the Chola period, and Periya Puranam, which is also known as Tirutondara Puranam. It was written by Sekilar. So these two writers are important. Then we had Kalingatu Parani by Jayang Kondar, which describes the Kalinga war fought by Kolutunga I. However, Kolutunga I lost Sri Lanka, but he was a good ruler. Then the Muvarula, written by Otta Kuthar, depicts the life of three Chola kings. Then we have Nalavenba, which was written by Pugalendi. Works of Tamil grammar are also there, like Kalladam, written by Kalladanar, Yapperungalam by Amrita Sagar, he was a Jain, Nanul by Pavanandhi, and Veerasolyam by Buddhamitra. These are the four Tamil grammar works. You will remember them by reading them again and again. Ultimately, we see the development of important Dravidian style of temple architecture, okay, which is so famous even today. So this style got development under Cholas. The chief feature of Chola temple is the Viman, which is very big. You can see this is a very big Viman, right? Look at the topmost part of the temple. Okay, the height of the temple and the height of the Viman looks very similar, isn't it? So big Vimans came up. So this is the most important feature and unique feature which you should remember. The big temple at Tanjore, it was built by Rajaraj I. It consists of the Viman, Ardha Mandapam, Maha Mandapam, large pavilion in front of the Nandi Mandapa, and Shiva temple at Gangai Konda Cholapuram was also built by Rajendra I. You can see this is the Gangai Konda Cholapuram temple, this one. And this is also Brihadeshwar temple of Thanjavur. This one, Brihadeshwar temple of Thanjavur. You can see this is having such a big Viman. Okay, very, very important. Then later Chola temples, we see that we have Airatheshwara temple at Darasuram in Tanjore district, and the Kamparaheshwara temple at Tirubhavanam was there. Bronze statues and bronze sculptures came up in this period with a very large number, and we found the walls of the Chola temple such as Tanjore and Gangai Konda Cholapuram temple having a lot of sculptures. The bronze of the Chola period are world famous. The bronze statue of Nataraj or dancing Shiva became very famous. So it is sometimes thought that the Nataraj statue came during the Chola period, but don't get confused. We already had Nataraj statue, okay? We already had Nataraj sculptures in India before the Cholas. Even in Aihole, we have found many Nataraj statues, but it became more famous. The production increased during the Chola time, okay? So you can say that the production of Nataraj statue, the bronze statues, increased more in the Chola time. The Chola paintings were also found on the wall of Narthamalai and Tanjore temples. So we have finally completed all the South Indian kingdoms. Okay. Now we can discuss the Islamic invasion in the early medieval India, how these invaders came, what they did, how they started influencing the Indian system, how the clash with Rajputs got there. Okay, please let me know. Yes, these names are tongue twisters, of course. We had Hindu mathas, we had Hindu mathas also, we had different math in the temple areas only, because at that time temples used to serve as math, learning centers, banks also. Sometimes they used to be like schools also. Math is like a school only. Clear? Okay. So guys, I hope that you enjoy today's session. What I'll do that from tomorrow we will start this new topic of early medieval India, because already we have discussed a lot today. Okay, because so much of confusing topics and datas you have got. So just try to revise it. Keep some time to absorb it in your mind. Give your mind some kind of relaxation today, and be ready for tomorrow's session, because tomorrow we are starting this new phase of early medieval India, in which we will discuss the rulers and the clashes and the fights in North India. The invaders started from the part of northwestern sides, so from northwestern India we will start. No more South Indian kingdoms we will discuss, so only the part of North India and the clashes of Rajputs and the Islamic architecture, then Islamic rulers, then Delhi Sultanate will be there. Okay, and then only two kingdoms are there of South India, but they are not very difficult. They are very interesting and easy to understand: Bahmani kingdom and Vijayanagar empire, and that too we will discuss when we will end the Delhi Sultanate and during the Mughal time, or after the Mughals we will discuss that. So that will come after around 10 lectures. Okay, for 10 lectures there is no discussion on South Indian kingdoms. For 10 lectures we will only focus on North India and Central India. Okay, so I hope there are no doubts for today. Clear. So I'm not starting it today, I'll start it tomorrow. Fine, no doubts. So thank you so much guys, thank you so much for coming. See you then, take care, bye bye.